Hello, everyone, and welcome to Support Someone Saturday. I'm so excited to have you here with us today, and I have Teresa Tucker here from the Magic Foundation. So Teresa is a patient advocate and the co-founder of the Magic Foundation, which began back in October of 1989. So we're excited to have Teresa tell us all about the Magic Foundation today. But first, I want to let you know a little bit more about her. She lives in sunny San Diego, California, which I must say I'm a little jealous. It's beautiful out there. And she loves to spend time with her family, especially her 6-month-old grandson. Her son, Stephen, was actually diagnosed with growth hormone deficiency right before his 3rd birthday. And I'm sure she's going to tell you more about Stephen, who's grown up now into a fine young man. And Teresa also likes to go fishing off the piers in San Diego. She said, you never know what you may catch. And so I'd love to hear about some of those unique things you have caught out there. And so I'm so happy to welcome Teresa here today for Support Someone Saturday. How are you, Teresa?
Just fine, Amy. Good morning.
Good morning. So I have to tell you, I actually know Teresa. So it's a pretty amazing, kind of unique, serendipitous way we met. Several years ago, being that I have a background in modeling and trade shows and events, I started working at the Magic Foundation, which I'm wearing my Magic Stars shirt now. And I worked as an independent contractor for Novo Nordisk, which is one of the companies there that makes the growth hormone Norditropin. And I was a booth facilitator, got to interact with the families, wonderful people, year after year, get to know them and their children. And then in 2017, our own son, Ashton, was diagnosed with Noonan syndrome, which is a genetic condition. And part of that is he has growth hormone deficiency. So I'm talking to one of my first moms out here in the Chicagoland area. And she said to me, her son had also been on growth hormone for several years. And she said, you have to get involved with the Magic Foundation. She said, it's the best thing we could ever have done for my son and for our family. And she paused and I just got choked up. I'm like, you know what? I'm very familiar with the Magic Foundation already. So right away that same summer, we went, Ashton and I, to our first convention as attendees. It was a very hard transition for me, I will be honest, from a worker there encouraging others to the one needing to be encouraged. But I was so thrilled to see all these familiar faces, and Teresa has been a wonderful support to Ashton and our family. So amazing organization. I called them right after we found out about Ashton, really tearful, and they walked me through so many things. So I'm so thankful for you guys, Teresa. You do an amazing job. And you really do give people that love and that support they need. So I would love for you to tell us more about how the Magic Foundation got started. And for those that aren't familiar, like what is the mission and what is it all about?
Oh, so there were a group of moms who we had met who all had children with medical issues, medical conditions that affected their physical growth. And as a result, we decided that we wanted to offer support to other families. And so we sat around Mary Andrew's kitchen table one, I don't know, I think it was February day, and it was cold in Chicago at the time.
Yeah.
As things aren't used to that.
Yeah.
And we worked on our, the name and what we wanted, what our mission, what we wanted to be, what we wanted to offer our families. And our mission is support and education. Mm-hmm. And MAGIC is actually an acronym for major aspects of growth in children. And we didn't realize, everything that was coming at us over the next 30 years, but we'll get into that a little later. But because we all had affected children, we wanted to be there and be that support for the families. Mm-hmm. We knew what we needed when we first started, and it was just an opportunity. I like to say that I was in the right place at the right time with the right people. If it had been left to just me, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be where we are. But the other moms that were involved were also movers and shakers, and pretty much made it happen. I remember Mary calling as she was driving home from Springfield, Illinois, after she picked up our incorporation papers.
Yeah.
And she was crying, and I'm like, why are you crying? This is an exciting day. She goes, I'm scared. What's going to come next?
Oh.
And so, that was over 30 years ago. And it's hard to imagine. And of the original founders, 3 of us are still involved on the day-to-day workings of magic.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. I love being here and being the support for other families.
Yeah, I can tell. It really shows. It really is who you are. You embody that, and been such a blessing to us. I think of like an advocate, someone that comes alongside, and you totally do that for people. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I guess when we've been through it, or you've been through it, like you said, you know what it feels like. And so you have that compassion and you have that willingness. Maybe not everyone has the willingness, but you do. And so thank you for that. And I hope that I could be the same way, because I know it's been a journey, for us with Ashens-Noonan syndrome diagnosis. And yeah, I want to be a comfort to others as well. So tell us a little bit more, like why you originally had to get involved. I know we mentioned Stephen being diagnosed right before his 3rd birthday. So tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to get started with this.
So when Stephen was born, he had some medical issues and things that were all pieces of a puzzle. He was severely jaundiced when he was born. He was diagnosed as failure to thrive, hypoglycemic. He had childhood asthma, all kinds of different things that we weren't sure what was going on. And I took him into his pediatrician for his 18-month well checkup. And the nurse, who had been the same nurse who had been measuring him from day one, laid him down on the table. Back then, there were no fancy devices, at least not in my pediatrician's office. Laid him on the table, made the marks on the paper, handed him back to me, and went over. And I had a really great pediatrician. She stressed regular checkups. She monitored the children. She measured them, plotted them on a growth chart, which is very important. And so the nurse had gone to the growth chart, come back, taken Stephen from me again, laid him on the paper, and kind of stretched him out.
Yeah.
And the measurements on the paper got longer. And when the pediatrician came into the room, and let me backtrack 1 second. When the nurse went over to the growth chart again, I heard her say, "There, that's better."
Oh, wow.
And I was startled. And I realized I'd seen her do that before at other visits. So when the pediatrician came in the room, I asked her to remeasure him.
Yeah.
And the measurement she took was more than 2 inches shorter than what the nurse had written down.
Okay.
And I said, and the pediatrician called the nurse back in the room, and she says, "But why? Why?" And the nurse goes, "I just couldn't believe he wasn't growing."
Yeah.
And that was the day that changed our lives. That was the day we went for an x-ray of the skull, because back then we didn't do MRIs. That wasn't standard procedure. We went for lab work. We went for a bone age x-ray. And we received a referral to a pediatric endocrinologist.
Okay. It
took us over a year and a move to another city to find the right endocrinologist for us. And we were fortunate enough to land in San Diego and find some really great pediatric endocrinologists who, within the first 3 months of living here, met with him, tested him, found out that he was growth hormone deficient. And that answered a whole lot of questions as to what was this medical issue, what was that medical issue. And it was his health was being severely affected by the fact that he was growth hormone deficient. And within magic, we say it's more than height. It's about health.
Yes.
And that's so important for us to get that message across, because while our children aren't growing normally, that is a side effect of the bigger picture of what their health is doing.
Sure. Sure.
So, um, about a month prior to Stephen's third birthday, he started on growth hormone therapy. We were told without medical intervention, without treatment, Stephen would never be 4 feet tall.
Wow.
So, you know, and that in itself is a life sentence of
Oh,
issues that you're going to be dealing with, because your whole body's not growing, your lungs aren't growing, your heart, your kidneys, you know, everything's so at 16 and a half, he completed his growth hormone therapy at a height of 5 feet 7 inches,
that's awesome.
which is his exact mid-parental height.
Okay.
We weren't trying to make him into somebody he wasn't meant to be.
Sure.
But we gave him back a normal life.
That's awesome. It's so cool to hear that. That's success right there, right?
It is.
Yeah. And just like you said, the whole picture to find out what was wrong, you know, it wasn't just his growth, but all the other health issues combined. And then it starts to solve that whole puzzle, and you're able to get the help they need in every area, you know, as
Definitely.
I know for Stephen. That is so good. So tell us a little bit, like, how has magic changed over the last 30 years from the time you and Mary Andrews and the others sat down and said, hey, let's come together? And maybe you can tell people more, like, what other, you know, growth hormone deficient, you know, disorders do people have, you know, within magic? You know, I know there's a lot, but, you know, tell us about that.
Well, when we first started magic, we didn't know how many disorders that were out there that affect physical growth in children.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we evolved over the years, we started bringing in other disorders which affect physical growth in kids. So, you know, we started a division for McCune-Albright syndrome, and then, you know, brought in, of course, thyroid disorders is always, you know, one of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
Then just different disorders that affect physical growth in kids. And now we have 12 different divisions of magic. You know, we have one for gestational age, Russell-Silver syndrome, as I said, McCune-Albright syndrome, optic nerve hypoplasia, septo-optic dysplasia, which is a different disorder, panhypopituitarism, which is one that affects the entire endocrine system.
Sure.
Hypophosphatasia, and achondroplasia is our newest division. And I'm trying to make sure that I've got them all, because I think I'm missing something.
Okay. I'm amazed you can pronounce them all. That's awesome. I know you've been working for a while.
Yeah. Cushing syndrome.
Yeah.
Congenital adrenal hyperplasia, and central precocious puberty. I think that rounds it out.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, so those are our major divisions of magic. But we also encompass families who have children with Turner syndrome and Noonan syndrome, and other disorders that, while we don't have a specific division for them, we bring them into, I'll call it our umbrella of magic. And so that is, you know, how we have grown over the years. Then our children have grown up to become the affected adults.
Yes.
While Stephen is, you know, adult now, he is also a growth hormone deficient adult.
Yes.
So he is back on growth hormone therapy as an adult. And so we grew to encompass the adult divisions as well. So adult growth hormone deficiency panhypopituitarism is another one of our divisions. And so we support those and provide education for our adults as well.
That's so important, right? Yeah, you do.
Yes.
You cover the adults, the families. I feel like you do a really good job. of remembering everyone, you know, which that kind of leads into our next question of what does magic stand for? I know you mentioned it once, and then maybe you can tell people about the magic stars, like my shirt, where that can, yeah, tell us more about that.
Well, as I said, magic, because when we started, we were all about our kids. That's all we knew. So magic is an acronym for major aspects of growth in children.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we wanted something that didn't talk about the negative. We didn't
Yeah.
want it to be, you know, anything that said growth in itself. And so magic was a great way
Mm-hmm.
for it to be something that kids could relate to, but yet it didn't, you know, when you look at We Are Magic Stars, you just think, oh, that's really cool, that's exciting, instead
Yeah,
of being something that was, you know, the kids wouldn't want to promote for
sure,
themselves.
sure.
Uh, and I don't, we just, stars just seem to go with magic. And you know, it's one of those things you never, I
Mhm.
can look back and say, oh, I remember when we came up with that logo
Yeah,
or that slogan or whatever. Um, and it was, you know, it's now it's just evolved into being who we are. So
yeah,
we're all, our children are stars.
yeah.
They are our stars.
That's
Uh,
so good.
and I
Yeah,
remember Jamie Harvey is the one that came up. She's one of the other founders. She came up with the idea of, or the phrase, children have a short time to grow and a lifetime to live with those results.
good. Yeah,
And it was like, wait, repeat that, say that again, and then, you know, write it down, because
yeah,
that is our
yeah,
mind. And because it's so true.
yes.
If you miss
Yeah.
that window of opportunity, it is forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good. That really makes you realize. I think even with us with Ashton and his journey, you know, like once we realized, okay, he's not growing, we got to get to the bottom of this. You know, he was 7 when we found out, but still that was, we are catching it. He's got till he's 16, you know, to be on the growth hormone, and that's a lot of years. And so thankfully, you know, even though we didn't catch it as a baby or a toddler, you know, we can give them that chance, you know. So I think it's important. And I think it's a good reason for us to be doing this video today, as someone may be watching right now, and maybe they have a child that is short and they don't see them growing, you know, we call it short stature, but you don't know why their peers are constantly getting taller, and it is disheartening. But to just have the courage to go talk to your pediatrician, your endocrinologist, and begin to, you know, find out why. And it is a process. Like it took you a while, it took us a while, you know, from the initial realization to the time he was diagnosed or whatever, or she. So I think it's important, you know, to look into it and kind of face your fears. I mean, when we found out, it was a relief to know, but it was also kind of a sadness, you know, to find out, okay, this is what's going on. But it's good to know why, like you said, and now we can start to help him in every way possible. And I love that you said these kids are magic stars, they shine. And it, like anything in life, right? There may be like a weakness in one area, but then there's a strength as well, you know, a resilience, I think, with these kids. And there is something special about them that makes them, you know, like people are endeared, you know, I think for our son. So there's just, yeah, there's something about people that have gone through things, and it's almost like God has his hand on them, these kids. And so they do shine. And I will have to say, Teresa, the thing that Ashton loves about going to the Magic Convention is like, Mom, I feel normal there. You know, I think he's in the background right now. He's like, I love going there because there's other kids like me, and they all have to take their shots, and they all are going through something similar. And I just love being there because I'm with people that are just like me, and I feel normal. And we never want to leave when we go for the weekend, right? We're so sad we can't be there because of this pandemic, but we'll be back next year. But it's one of our favorite things. And even my daughter loves it because I don't think we mentioned this, but siblings are affected, you know, and that's been a whole other thing for us to try to help now support our daughter and what she goes through being the sibling of an affected child and how it affects the dynamics within the family. So I feel like everyone gets supported when they go to the Magic Foundation convention. So you all do a fabulous job of covering every angle. So thank you for all that you do. And thanks to Mary and James and Jamie, the other founders, because you've done an excellent job. Okay, so Teresa, tell us, what is your favorite part of your job? And if you have any special story you want to share with us, we'd love to hear from you.
My favorite thing is to talk to the families, the new families, the first diagnosed, and, you know, help introduce them to their new normal,
Sure.
because that's what we want it to be. We want it to be normal. We don't want it to be something that is traumatic or something that affects every aspect of the child's life. We want to help them absorb the information and understand what's happening. And I absolutely love talking to those families the very first day, the very first week, whatever, like, you know, when Ashton was first diagnosed and you needed somebody to talk to. And that's my favorite part. I absolutely love that. Families are, they're sponges. They want information. They want to absorb everything and learn. And I'm so excited by that. And it's amazing the connections you make. I have made so many people, I have made so many friends through being a part of this. People I would have never met, people I would not in my life. I had a dad report to me the other day that he met up with a mom because of magic, and come to find out that their families are both from the same little island in Greece.
Wow.
He said, oh, he was so excited. He says, you know, I would have never met these people if it hadn't been for magic. And I'll tell you, my amazing little story is I met one of the moms here in San Diego. Her husband was here for military duty. He was stationed. And we had talked on the Facebook group, and she said, let's meet in person. So we sat down for lunch one day, and she said that her family was from this small town in South Carolina. And she said, it's Walterboro. And I was like, that can't be a very small town. I have a cousin that lives there, and he owns a big business. And she said, she got this strange look on her face, and she goes, my niece is dating a boy whose dad owns a business like that. And I'm like, what's the last name? Turns out it's my cousin's son. So we're now officially related.
Yeah.
Her niece and which would be my second cousin, are now married.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, you know, and I would have never met her. They live back in South Carolina. Well, the family does, but would have never known her if not through magic.
Sure. A lot of great connections.
Yes, yes, it is. So it's just, those are connections of people I would have never known you.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like we've developed a friendship over and above the conditions children have and magic.
Thank you. That is a gift. You know that you're great at connecting. So thank you. You run toward the hurting people. I think that was one of the hardest things. Certain people have a hard time handling, you know, within our network of friends and family, you know, certain people kind of had drifted away, but certain people have come closer, and you're one that like ran closer to us. So that it takes a strong person to do that, you know, and just say, how can I be there for you? So thank you for being a great connector. And speaking of connections, I know that coming up here in July is the virtual convention. So can you tell us about that, and also the best way for people to get connected to the Magic Foundation?
Sure. Oh gosh. Well, this will be our 26th annual convention, but our first virtual. And it's exciting to be doing this virtually, but in a way, it's kind of sad too. Like you said, when you guys come to convention and you're there in a room with other people, you feel that friendship, that family, that connection, and the kids get to be together in a way where they don't. They are not unusual. They are not somebody different. They feel normal, like you said.
Yes.
one of the hashtags that we use is United by Unique.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, and our kids are unique. But this year, our virtual convention is being held July 17th and 18th on Friday and Saturday. And we are still putting together the educational segments so that you can listen in on a physician that is speaking about your child's condition. And there will be segments for precocious puberty, growth hormone deficiency, small for gestational age, Russell-Silver syndrome, hypophosphatasia, McCune-Albright syndrome, Cushing's, and adult growth hormone deficiency, and for children with panhypopituitarism, and then along with adult growth hormone deficiency, adults with panhypopituitarism, and I'm forgetting one. I should have.
Yeah, you're going up.
Optic nerve hypoplasia, septo-optic dysplasia. So all of those disorders will be covered in separate timelines. But the neat thing about the virtual convention is if you register, then you can go back for a couple of months and watch the different sessions that you didn't get to attend. So let's say your child has hypopituitarism, and that child is affected. Your child has growth hormone deficiency, they have adrenal insufficiency, they have thyroid disorder, they have a myriad of different conditions that are a part of that. And you want to go to the session what is PAN 101, but it's at the same time as a session that growth hormone deficiency is running that you want to see. Well, now you get to see them both.
Nice.
So you can watch live on one session and go back later and watch the other one.
That's really good. That's smart.
But the best thing about attending the live is that you will get to see our exhibitors and some of the fun things we're going to be doing. We're going to have a magic show, and there'll be some balloon art and some other things for the kids to keep them active and interactive. So you can have the kids watch with you, or just have them for the fun times, which is what we do at the convention anyway.
That's so true. Thank you for telling us more about it. It's really helpful.
Great.
Yeah, and now tell us the website. If people want to reach out to you, what is the website for Magic?
www.magicfoundation.org, O-R-G.
Okay.
And then the banner will show at the top right away about the convention. You click on the link and go there.
Okay, perfect. You can get signed up. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to post that link as well on this video when we put it out there. So magicfoundation.org. If you want to get in touch with Teresa or anyone at the Magic Foundation, or sign up to go to the virtual convention this year. So I would encourage you to do so. Teresa, thank you so much for joining me today on Support Someone Saturday. I feel like this has been so helpful. You all have just blessed us in so many ways, and I just know that you are the real deal. I feel like when you call the Magic Foundation, you will get help. I mean, people that answer the phones will listen, they'll walk you through things, they'll help you figure out. There's so many different, phases and aspects to figure out, whether it's the health, the insurance, and there's loving people there waiting to help you and walk with you on this journey. So Teresa, thank you for doing that for me and so many others. And we just look forward to seeing you next year in person and giving you a hug. And yeah, I just want to encourage people to reach out, and it's a great organization to give to. If you're looking to want to make a donation or be a part of an organization that is really making a positive difference in people's lives, I would encourage you to give to the Magic Foundation. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great summer. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.